Five, four. Hello everyone, this is Shaitan bringing you game number 2 of a best of 3 between the red Zerg, Millennium Stephano, spawning in the north position on Metalopolis, and the blue Zerg Check 6's Mystik, spawning in the south position of Metalopolis. This is game number 2 of a best of 3 between the two in round 2 of the winners bracket at MLGOrlando 2011. The winner of this game, well, the winner of this series will advance to winners bracket number 3, whereas the losers will drop down to the losers bracket to fight their way back up to the top. Now, the interesting to note is that in ZvZ, the fact that they are cross positions actually makes it slightly less likely that we're going to see a macro game. If the players were spawning close by air, they would be able to scout their opponent's hatchery before any sort of early pool shenanigans would be effective and respond appropriately, and then that means that both players would be able to just build their hatchery and feel completely safe in the fact that their opponent would not be able to do any pressure without them being aware of it. But seeing that we're actually going cross spawns, it's possible for one player to drop down their hatchery, the other player to sort of predict that their opponent would do so and drop down a quick 10 pool, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Both players are already up to 14 or 15 drones. They aren't dropping their spawning pools yet. It looks like both players are going to be going for some type of a quick expansion. So this game is going to have a little bit of downtime. We'll see how both players decide to react after this. Both players are actually doing some scouting. Stephano is delaying the expansion of Mystik while Stephano was able to get his own down right now. It looks like there's not going to be that much of a difference, about 5 seconds between the two hatcheries, but you want to take any tiny advantage that you can. Mystik chooses to drop a gas after his hatchery goes down. Stephano, meanwhile, chooses to just drone up even more, and you can see that in the one drone advantage between the two. It looks like both of them are able to maintain scouting information of their opponent's bases, so they could have kept droning up if they liked. It looks like Stephano got his spawning pool just a little bit earlier than Mystik, and then followed it up with a gas of his own. Now, after the spawning pool goes down, the game can sort of evolve in one of 3 ways. You can have just pure sling aggression. It's very unlikely that that will happen or be effective in this case, as both players are going to be fairly even on economy. They're going to have the same amount of production. So really the goal with that build is just to sort of overrun your opponent with units before he knows what's going to hit him, but I don't see that happening. There is also the very popular build of following up this Speedling opening with Banelings. You drop the Baneling nest, and you can use this offensively or defensively. It's going to make you safe against any sort of Speedling all-in, because you're going to be able to cost-effectively defeat armies with Banelings as they one-shot Zerglings. We see that Mystik actually pulls off he pulled off all but one of his drones briefly off of gas, and now he's put them back on there. Stephano has continued to mine off of gas continuously. They're both getting Zergling speed. Mystik's is going to be coming about 30 seconds before his opponent's, but that shouldn't be too significant of a hit, as I don't think that he's trying to capitalize on that tiny window that he has. Mystik is getting a Baneling nest. He wants to be absolutely certain that he isn't going to lose to any sort of a Speedling all-in from Stephano. It's a very nice, safe way to play. And the third potential opening, or follow-up rather, to this hatch first build, which doesn't look like it's going to happen, but just as an FYI, you can transition into Roaches. Roaches are the staple unit in a mid-game Zerg army, or at least they have been. There's been a bit of a shift away from that toward Mutalisk, but the Roaches are very effective until you can sort of skip the Banelings and go right into them, as the Roaches are able to kill Banelings. But there are some timings that can be effective if against that if your opponent decides to skip the Banelings and go right to the Roaches. We do see that Mystik is able to scout almost all of the base of Stephano, He knows the Baneling Nest is coming. Both players are getting Spine Crawlers at their naturals. They want to be able to poke away at the Banelings if their opponents decide to go that way. And both players are beginning to build some Zerglings. We do see that drones are fairly even. 30 for Stephano, 29 for Mystik, and Mystik will actually catch up right as soon as this drone finishes. Both players are morphing in a few defensive Banelings. Mystik actually looks like he wants to be the aggressor. He's rallying his Speedlings over to his opponent's, or outside of his opponent's base. He's morphing in some Zerglings. So it looks like Mystik is going to try to force the issue. Stephano is ahead in drones right now. He took the opportunity to take the lead there. He's up by about 3 right now, and it looks like he's getting ready to transition into Roaches, but these Banelings are going in, and we'll see what happens. That Baneling hit plus the Spine Crawler is able to take out those units very, very effectively. This one Baneling isn't going to kill them. It is going to do significant damage. No! He actually miscontrolled it. He could have brought all of those units down into the red, and then a Speedling attack, counterattack into there would have been devastating. It looks like in the meantime that Mystik lost most of his units, probably to a Baneling explosion while he was trying to micro this Baneling into the mineral line. It looks like nothing is going the way that Mystik wanted to. I think Stephano knows that he's at a heavy advantage, although that Baneling hit was very nice. Now, Stephano actually doesn't have that many Banelings. He only has one, which means that a Speedling run by can be effective, but it doesn't look like Mystik has the Speedlings that he needs to. Stephano knows that he's ahead. He's going to take this third base, but it looks like Mystik actually greedily decided to build a bunch of drones after that engagement. He's up to 37 with Stephano at 35, but Stephano will be up to 44 in a second. Both of them are getting their +1 range attack and getting ready for the transition into Roach, although neither of them, well, Mystik just dropped his Roach Warren, but Stephano doesn't actually have the Roach Warren down yet. Both are beginning their lairs at about the same time, but it looks like Stephano's hatchery will complete a little bit before Mystik's third does. His third just dropped down, and Stephano's actually going for a bit of a counterattack with these Zerglings. I'm not sure how effective it'll be because Mystik does have some Zerglings here to stop the pressure from coming in. He is bringing some Banelings that's going to force the Zerglings back, but Mystik has some Banelings of his own that are going to force these Zerglings out. I don't think they'll be able to force the cancel, although that was some very, very nice nitro. Oh, he ran in and suicided Banelings into the hatchery. I don't really know if I like that. It looks like the hatchery is going to stay up. He just lost all of his Banelings. He has none back home. He's going to need to morph those in as soon as he can. Mystik could have actually gone for a very nice counterattack right into the main because the Banelings just aren't there, if he had known so, of course. Stephano is getting up his Carapace upgrade before his opponent. Drones are even at about 50, which is very interesting to see that both players are just so spot on keeping up with their opponent's drone production. We see Stephano pumping out some Roaches because he doesn't know what sort of a follow-up is coming. He doesn't have the Banelings. He needs the Roaches to deal with any sort of Baneling pressure, and we see a couple of Zerglings coming in. I don't think he can do any sort of significant damage with this, but Mystik might want to go in and get some scouting information. It doesn't look like he's doing so. He's just sort of keeping a couple Zerglings around here, probably going to poke around, see what he sees. He's going to see the Roaches and then turn tail and run. We do see this time that Mystik is going to be the one getting... Oh, I do not like this attack. He's just sort of running in. For what? He doesn't learn anything. I guess he learns that there's some drones there, but nothing that an Overlord could have done either, or an Overlord couldn't have done. Mystik is actually ahead in drones now by about 8. His third base is up as well. Both players are getting their +2 range attack, +1 Carapace, and Zergling speed, but we see this time Mystik is the one getting Burrow. We'll see if he wants to do some sort of burrowed Roach Harass or if he's going to transition into Infestors like last time. We actually see that Mystik is significantly ahead in drones right now by about 11. This is going to leave Stephano with the time to do a timing attack. He's ahead in Roaches 21-7. This could be game over actually right now for Mystik. He just hasn't had enough time to make the Roaches. There's 10 on the way right now, and Stephano is actually going to be giving him the time to get them up. They should be arriving just in time. No, it looks like he's going to force the issue. Going to be able to take out these 7 Roaches before the reinforcements get there. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage. He's going in right now doing damage to the hatchery. The hatchery is going to go down regardless. I think that Stephano is actually going to be able to just get away with the army as well. Most of his Roaches get away, and right now it's 20-17, but the Roaches are able to flee and get out unharmed, so Stephano is now just up 1 base. He's still down in Harvesters by about 14, so that's the only thing really that Mystik has going for him, but the economy of Stephano is just going to be able to kick into overdrive right now. He's going to have 3 hatches worth of production. He's getting Spine Crawler and a Spore Crawler in his natural. I think he saw the burrow of Mystik, and so he knows that he needs to be aware of burrow burrowed roach attacks, and Mystik is going to do a bit of a counterattack right here, but the roach count is actually even right now. Both players have 31 roaches. Stephano, both players actually are even on upgrades as well. It looks like they both have 1-1, but Stephano is reinforcing. He has some spine crawlers, he has some surgeons. I think he's going to be able to take this. The concave is also slightly better for Stephano. They're doing a bit of almost stutter step micro, and Mystik is repulsed. He's going to have to pull back. He's trying to bait Stephano into coming down the ramp so he can get a very nice concave down here, but Stephano doesn't fall for it. Interesting to note is also that Mystik has not re-expanded to his third base. He's going to need to kill his opponent with this before the might of Stephano's macro gets too good, and I think Stephano is going to have +2 finished right now. He's going to be able to take out. This is not a good engagement by Mystik. His roaches are milling around in the back, not doing damage. He's trying to move them forward so they can attack, but it looks like he's just going to be losing his units without any real advantage. And remember that Mystik is not able to reinforce his army as quickly as Stephano is because Stephano has 3 edge production. There's actually 2 engagements going on right now, micro going on both fronts, and it looks like Stephano is going to be driven back in one front while Mystik is driven back in the other. So it may seem even on paper, but Stephano's up to 50 roaches versus the 39 of Mystik. I think that Stephano is just going to be able to push in and kill Mystik completely. He's going to be able to sandwich these roaches with the 2 armies, but no, it looks like Stephano's actually being sandwiched between 2 sides of Mystik's armies. These roaches are going to die, but at the same time, these roaches of Mystik are going to die. This is very, very back and forth, but Stephano is holding on. He has more roaches, up 13 now. His +2 carapace is going to kick in. I think that's going to make it so that his roaches are just going to be able to do too much damage. He takes out the natural hatchery, and we're back in the same situation as last game, where it's a 1-base Zerg versus a 3-base Zerg. This time Mystik does have double hatch production from his main base, but Stephano has 3 hatcheries worth of production, whereas Mystik only has 2, and he's only mining off of 1. And you can see this is sort of pulling through for Stephano, where he is able to make 11 roaches at a time, while Mystik is only making 6. And we see there's a tiny group of roaches from Stephano, about 9 of them attacking into the main, and they're able to kill a couple of probes, bringing down the probe count, the drone count to almost even. There's also an engagement at the third, but the spine crawlers are able to push back the army of Mystik, and that combined with the upgrades is going to make Mystik GG out. Stephano takes the series 2-0 and advances into winner's bracket round number 3.